Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Ahmed, and today I'm presenting a policy proposal that's specific to the State Board of Higher Education. It's the governing body with the authority to implement system-wide academic policies across all public universities. Um, as both a student and someone who values education, I've seen how textbook cost creates a lot of burden and barriers to learning. And it's not a small inconvenience. For many students, it determines whether the semester they'll be fully prepared or they'll be lacking behind. Um, so today I'm proposing that the state board adopt a policy requiring public universities to prioritize something called OER, which is Open Educational Resources, in general education courses whenever appropriate. Um, this is financially responsible reform that promotes equity without sacrificing academic quality. Mm. So over the years, textbook costs have increased. Um, According to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, textbook prices rose 82% between 2002 and 2012. That definitely isn't just inflation, it's outpacing inflation. Um, and then students have to adjust their behavior, they have to pay out of pocket. And a 2021 national survey conducted by the USPIRG Education Fund found that 65% of students skip purchasing a required textbook due to cost. Nearly half of those reported took fewer courses, and some reported earning lower grades because they did not have access to whatever material they needed for that class. And it's it's rough to see because you can tell these kids either want to be there, they have the knowledge to be there, but they just can't perform because they're financially blocked. Um, when they start a course without access, they become unmotivated because obviously they don't have access the rest of the people have, so they just want to quit. They want to do something else. Um, so a lot of schools, their mission is to increase access to get higher graduation rates, not restrict them. So what I proposed was the OER to adopt the policy requiring public universities to prioritize it so that the students can have access to whatever knowledge, whatever resources, whatever textbooks they need. And it mainly would consist of four steps. Number one would be to require departments to review general education courses every year. And then number two would be to mandate adoption of said OER when high quality materials are available. And then three would be provide small faculty grants to support the course redesign over time. And the last one would be to require annual reporting on textbook cost savings and adoption process, which this allows um, faculty freedom when prioritizing affordability where quality alternatives exist. Um, I can see from the other side, though, that the research I've set hasn't really supported the claim that OER lowers academic standards. In a peer-reviewed meta analysis published in the Educational Technology Research and Development, John Hilton reviews multiple studies comparing OER to traditional textbooks, and he concluded that students using OER perform the same or better than students using commercial textbooks. So it's not just choosing between affordability and quality, it shows that you can have both. Another concern would be the professors or faculty willing to adopt because it's change and not everybody likes change. So that's why it would be modest and it would be a little slower rollout. It wouldn't be instantaneous or a burden on the faculty. The goal is collaboration, not imposition. So by focusing first on general education courses, the board can maximize impact quickly and efficiently. Uh, so this next part is to the members of the State Board of Higher Education. Your responsibilities include expanding access, promoting student success, maintaining academic standards, and ensuring responsible stewardship of public funds. So this proposal supports all of these priorities by reducing financial barriers, protecting academic quality, improving equity, and demonstrating responsible governance. Because general education courses enroll the largest amount of students, even partial adoption could save students millions of dollars over the years. And the evidence comes from the federal agency, peer-reviewed research and national survey data, which is impartial. So it's not from the university side, it's not from the student side, and this is all evidence-based. The Government Accountability Office confirms that textbook prices have risen dramatically. These documents show how these costs harm students academically, and Hilton's peer-reviewed research does confirm that OER maintains learning outcomes. It doesn't decrease, and it does increase them. Um, we have the problem, and we have the evidence, so now we just need a practical plan and the authority, which in this case is the board, to act. Therefore, I urge the Board of Higher Education to adopt a policy requiring public universities to prioritize OER in general education courses. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. Um, so you talked about how like universities might be like not very accepting of this change. Because like obviously they'd be making less money. So certain universities might push back. Do you think that a different solution to this issue might make both ha parties happy would be for the university maybe to add a fee onto the student's tuition ahead of time? Like I don't know a certain number, but there's a certain fee that they add to the tuition just so that the student is aware of what they will be paying for their textbook. So they add a fee, and now they have access to everything once they are enrolled because they paid that extra fee onto their tuition. So they know ahead of time what they're paying and if they'll be able to afford that fee.
So you're saying the fee would be added to their tuition after they have already registered for classes?
No, ahead of time. So like where you already see your tuition, that fee would already be included in that. So say they raise their fee, they raise their tuition by like $1,000 or something.
Mhm.
And now it would include like unlimited access to all their textbooks and everything like that, so that they know ahead of time what they're paying and if they'll be able to afford it.
Oh, and then a scholarship or a grant could be applied to it. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fair.
Okay.
Mhm.
Kind
Um,
of something. Oh, sorry, y'all. I okay. Well, kind of something similar to that. I know you said that universities won't be very accepting of this. Do you think that if they did implement this policy, they would tack on like hidden fees? Like instead of telling the student that this is what that's going towards, do you think they would just like put like raise the tuition and not tell anybody to just kind of include that? And then even then, if they did do that, would you worry that they would be charging the students too much with that fee tacked on than if than regular textbook prices?
So you're saying after the policy has been implemented, they would do hidden fees or they would just increase tuition overall?
Yeah, well, because like if there is a fixed price for the textbooks, and especially for individuals' classes, they might need specific textbooks, or they might, not need a textbook for that class. How would that regulate how much they would be paying for if they're not receiving the same amount of necessary course required work?
Well, I mean, what you could do is, by credit hours, they could have certain percentages that get tacked onto tuition and then they can't change it. It's still controlled. Maybe doing a poll. Mm. I think, yeah, the percentage based off credit hours would probably be the best. Um, because tuition would, well, if everybody got um, tacked on to everybody's tuition, then ideally they could have it covered by a scholarship or something.
Gotcha. But would you worry that certain people would be paying more than others based upon what they receive, or no?
Well, everybody's paying more than somebody else in
Okay.
college. So it is tuition. Some people pay out of state, some people pay in state. So having somebody pay more because they're taking more credit hours, but having it covered by a scholarship is still better than having somebody that is barely passing and has a lot of credit hours, but doesn't have enough to cover it, I would say.
Gotcha.
Do you think that the professors would be open to this change or?
Yeah, most professors would be because uh, most professors don't agree with the whole charging students extravagant amount of money for their class. They're mostly understanding. My professors, at least, are very understanding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I would
It's
say.
just some like have a tough time understanding some
Yeah,
students.
that is true.
How do you feel about like the classes that require apps like Connect or like Top Hat to access like homework assignments and the textbook as well? Like, how do you think this would affect like the classes that use those programs?
How would it affect it? Honestly, they would have to find a different solution. They would have to find a different solution. Yeah, that's about it.
Do you think that like maybe a solution to like the negative reaction from the university could be just like making textbooks for like bigger like Carolina core classes cheaper and having like smaller classes like women and gender studies say like the same price?
Overall, yeah, if you have the core classes reduced price, it's still going to impact students. Uh, Having it added on after your class, like I know when the semester starts and I'm ready to go, and then I look at the syllabus and it says required textbook is $150. I definitely get demotivated. So having it reduced, yeah, it's still going to be less on the student, but it's still going to be a factor in how they perform in that class.
I don't know if you can tell my feelings on textbook cost based on this class. I spent about 4 years ago an entire summer basing everything that you read from the weekly folders are things that I spent hours and hours hunting and searching and pulling to, or and in some cases, making my own information based off of the website you're actually supposed to use for this class. I took everything from the website you're supposed to use, which is $100, by the way. So you're welcome. I saved everybody $100. Um, Everything that they had in that website, I went and I found parallel content OER for free because I know like grad school in one semester, I spent $1,700 in textbooks. And guess where those textbooks are at? On a shelf over there because I couldn't sell them back. So I'm very pro. We should be using OER. The only area that it gets a little bit gray in is OER doesn't really keep up with like most modern standards. So, and I know you kind of mentioned this, your focus is just for like gen ed, but are you okay with as you get into your major courses, those textbooks being required, or is it just gets hard. Like I teach social media and OER cannot keep up with changing social media. So I have a textbook for my social media class, but I keep a desk copy in the department
Yeah,
office for students to go use.
yeah, that's a fair point. When it gets very major specific, I can see how you have to use a specific textbook, but also I do see how professors can spend a little more time during the summer, like you, where they find other resources or help out students in different ways.
Should we get stipends to do that? I did not get a stipend, just to be clear.
Yeah, it'd be an incentive to get them on board if helping their students is not enough.
All right. Any other questions? All right, I think you're good to stop your recording.